Are you looking for some help to become a better leader? In this episode, I'm pulling back the curtain on my approach, my background, and why leaders who work with me see real, lasting change. If you're tired of going it alone and ready for practical support that actually works, this episode is for you. Welcome to We've All Done It, the podcast for leaders who know they've screwed up and are ready to fix it fast. I'm Kimberly Benoit, author, speaker, leadership coach, and Southern girl living outside of Washington, D.C. Here's what I believe. Every leader faces challenges and makes mistakes, but you don't need years of therapy-style coaching to fix them. You need someone to help you figure out what's actually going wrong, make smart adjustments, and get back on track quickly. That's exactly what I do through one-on-one coaching, targeted skill development, and group programs. Every episode of this podcast delivers real talk about common leadership pitfalls, practical strategies for recovery, and no BS guidance to improve how you lead yourself and others every single day. Whether you're here to listen and learn or ready to work together and make real changes, you are in the right place. Now let's get to today's episode. Maybe you've been listening to this podcast for a while or attended my recent Navigating Uncertainty Leadership Summit, and you're wondering, is this Kimberly Benoit? And why should I trust her to help me? And I have to say, it's a fair question. So I thought I'd spend this episode telling you a little bit about myself and what I do. So I have spent over 20 years in various industries like healthcare, big box retail, the criminal justice world, and consulting, leading programs, creating and driving strategies. I've taught, facilitated, and hosted thousands of events, working with leaders at every level, from first-time managers who just got promoted and are absolutely terrible, to seasoned executives managing major organizational transformations. But here's what really matters, and what I really want you to know. I've been in the trenches. I know what it's like to have a difficult conversation go completely sideways. I know what it feels like when your team isn't delivering and pressure is on your back and you're not sure if it's them or if it's you or if it's everything else. I know the weight of trying to hold people accountable while also maintaining good relationships and trust. I'm not someone who just studied leadership in a vacuum and now teaches, very theoretical classes. I have lived it. I have made many mistakes. I have learned from every mistake and every success, and I continue to evolve my approach based on what actually works in the real world. So, what does this mean for the work that I do? So let me help share how this experience, all of my 20 plus years of experience, sets apart what I do in my work. So first and foremost, I don't do cookie cutter solutions. I know your team isn't like everyone else's team. Your challenges are not identical to someone else's challenges, even if they sound similar. So why would you want to go and get some generic advice if you know you have unique issues? When you work with someone like me, whether it's through coaching, a summit, or the Leader Learning Lab, it's important to always start by understanding each individual's specific situation. What is the actual problem? What have you already tried? What are the constraints you personally are working with? And then ensure you're building solutions that fit your reality, not some idealized version of leadership that only really works in case studies. Secondly, I really value prioritizing action over perfection. So you can spend months analyzing your leadership style, reading books, taking every kind of assessment that's out there, hoping that some, personality test will give you the golden ticket. Or you could start by taking small strategic actions that actually move the needle. I'm a big believer in learning by doing. So what I love to do is we identify a specific thing that you can start to make improvements on immediately. You try something, we talk about it, and then we adjust. Because guess what? That's how real growth happens. It's not through perfect planning, but through consistent action and reflection. The third thing that I do is I like to balance how I challenge you to be better with support. If you've listened to this podcast for a little while, you know that I am not someone who is prone to just flatter for flatter's sake. I'm not going to blow smoke up your back end. If you are avoiding a conversation that you really need to have, I'm going to call you on it. If you're being lazy about your own development, you can guarantee I'll challenge you. But I'm also going to be your biggest advocate. I love to celebrate wins. I love to help process the hard stuff. I also like to remind every single person why you got into leadership in the first place, particularly when it feels hard and overwhelming. You need someone who is going to push you and support you. And candidly, that's exactly what you get when you work with me. Fourth thing, I make leadership development accessible. So here's a hard truth, and something that frustrates me all the time is I hate when leadership development feels that it is exclusive and only for some people, or that you feel like you have to have a big budget in order to be able to get good support and good development. That's simply not true. And that's why, in great part, why I created the Leader Learning at a very reasonable price. That's why I host summits where you can learn from experts for a fraction of what you would pay for a single day of corporate training. That's why this podcast is free. Good leadership development shouldn't be a luxury. It should be accessible to anyone who's willing to show up and do the work. And the last thing about why this work, how my background affects what I do and how I do it is I like to build community, not just content. Because you know what's more valuable than another leadership framework? It's talking to someone who is dealing with the same stuff you are. Someone who has walked in your shoes and has come out on the other side. That's why everything I create has a community element. The summit that are coming up later this year are going to have breakout discussions. The Leader Learning Lab has office hours where you bring real challenges. Even this podcast, I want to hear from you to address your actual questions and your actual struggles. Because leadership is really isolating all on its own. You don't need another solo learning experience. I want you to have the connection so that you can feel that you are seen, you are understood, and most importantly, you have people navigating and supporting you the entire way. So I'm going to be honest about who I like to work with and who I don't like to work with. Because believe it or not, that not everybody fits in everything. So if you're listening and you're like, hey, this sounds interesting, but I don't know if she's the right for me. So here's who would be a great, if you were thinking about working with someone or investing in any way, whether it's time or money, because everything's an investment. What makes a good? So for me, I love people who are genuinely committed to becoming a better leader, not just looking for a quick fix. People who are willing to be honest about where they're struggling, because we can't fix problems unless we know where the struggle is. I need people around who are open to feedback and trying new things, even when it's uncomfortable, because growth happens in the uncomfortable. And most importantly, people who do well working with me are those who are willing to do the work between sessions and between trainings. It's not just saying you're going to go try something. It's actually doing the trying, so that we can then figure out how to tweak and make it better and make it for you. So if you're thinking about, okay, so who's not a fit? You would not be a good fit if you're simply looking for someone to tell you you're doing it all right and everyone else is wrong. Because the truth is there's usually a little bit of improvement that everyone can make. If you're looking for a magic solution that doesn't require any effort on your part, not the person for you. If you're not willing to be vulnerable and honest, guarantee probably not the person for you. And if you're looking for more of a guru rather than someone who's going to show up as a partner, then I might not be the person for you. Here's what I can tell you though. These are there are 5 things that you can absolutely expect if you ever decide to work with me, whether it's through summits, labs, coaching, consulting. You're going to get these 5 things. You're going to get pure honesty. I'll tell you what I think, always with your best interest in mind. 2, practical tools. Everything I share is something you can implement right away. Next is accountability. I follow up. I'm going to ask how it went, and I'm going to help you stay on track, because that is where, again, change really happens. 4, flexibility. Your needs will change as you grow. And guess what? We adapt. And lastly, results. This isn't just about learning new concepts. This is about you actually seeing improvements in how you lead, and ultimately how your team shows up and performs and engages, and how they treat each other. So when leaders work with me, I just want to be candid about what actually happens, because that is where the rubber meets the road. So leaders that I have worked with have been great about a couple things. They stop avoiding difficult conversations and actually start addressing issues directly, which, I'm going to be honest, improves relationships rather than damages them. They get very clear on their leadership style and how to leverage their strengths while managing their weaknesses. Together, we build systems and approaches that make leadership feel less chaotic and more intentional. And most importantly, they start to actually enjoy leading again. It stops feeling like something they're just trying to survive. It starts feeling like something they're genuinely good at doing. So if you're considering this sounds great, so how could we work together? So there's several ways. First, the Leader Learning Lab is perfect if you want ongoing access to training resources, monthly office hours where you can bring any question or challenge. It's self-paced, but supported by. Next would be the summits, which are incredible, immersive experiences where you learn from multiple experts over a few days. They're perfect for getting inspired, learning new approaches, and connecting with other leaders. The next one coming up is Power of Your People Leadership Summit in May. It's going to be everything under the talent umbrella, and I'm really excited about what's going to come for that. Next would be one-on-one coaching or consulting, and this is for people who really need more personalized, intensive support. So if you're facing a specific challenge or want more dedicated guidance, reach out and let's talk about what that could look like for you. And lastly, this podcast is obviously free and a great way to start. But don't just listen. I encourage you to engage. Send me your questions. Tell me what you're struggling with. And then let's see if we can get an episode geared just towards you. So here's what I want you to do. If anything I've said resonates with you, don't just think about it. I would love for you to take some action. So if Leader Learning Lab sounds like what you need, check it out. There's a 3-month membership if you're not sure. Link's going to be in the show notes. If you want to experience what I do through a summit, grab your ticket for the Power of the People Summit. It's in the show notes. If you have a specific challenge you need help with, reach out directly. Let's talk, schedule some time with me. Again, link is in the show notes. And if you're not ready to invest yet but want to keep learning, subscribe to this podcast. Listen to prior episodes. Engage with the content. It's a completely valid place to start. But here's the real question I want you to ask yourself as you listen today. What's the cost of you staying stuck where you are? What would be different in 6 months if you had the support, tools, and community to become the leader you really want to be? What would be possible for your team, your organization, your career if you stopped trying to figure everything out on your own? Those are the questions that matter. And if the answers tell you it's time to invest in your leadership development, I'm here to help support you and would love to do this together. All right, everybody. Final thoughts. Leadership is incredibly hard work, but it's also some of the most meaningful work you'll ever do. You have the power to impact people's lives, to create environments where people can thrive, candidly, to make a huge difference. And most importantly, you don't have to do that alone. There's so many people out there willing and ready to support you. I'm here to support you. I'm here to challenge you and help you become the leader you're capable of being. So thanks for listening today, and I truly hope to work with you in some capacity soon. Until next time. I've got 2 things before I let you go. 1, if you've ever gotten any value from the show, please leave a 5-star review. It really helps and absolutely makes my day. The second thing is if you have any thoughts you'd like to share with me, please shoot me an email at podcast@KimberlyJBenoit.com. I'd love to hear from you. All right, see you in the next episode.